Hello, you beautiful people. My name's Casey Sports. This is the West Ham save, but today there's no West Ham, and you don't get to know what they've been up to, how we're doing. You don't get to see any of that, and don't bother asking. So, I'm right now on the rules because I'm very confused. um, we're going to be playing with England today, so you get to see what the team looks like, what the tactic looks like, and how we get on. But I'm reading the rules because we're doing this European League thing. I have no clue what it is. My head is just friendlies. From what I can see, if you finish first, you get promoted. If you finish last, you get relegated into a playoff. But I don't understand what are these playoffs or whatever. So I've honestly got no clue at all. So this is promoted to Div A, which we're already in. And then, okay, so if you win Division A, you go into the semi-finals against someone else, and then from the semis you can win the group stages. I have got no clue. I'm really, really lost. But this is how it looks. Portugal are in the green with 10 points. They're first. Czech Republic have already been relegated. They're yet to get a single point. They've lost all four games, and we will be facing them at the very end. And then Sweden are in third place, kind of the in between of it all. So basically, we're 3 points behind Portugal, much worse goal difference. So we need them to lose and to have a couple pretty good wins, and maybe something can come out of this. So this is the tactic. Harry Kane is injured, so Danny Amaso has came in as his replacement, but it's very similar. It is a what I'd call a 3-3-2-2 or a 3-6-2. Sorry, a 3-5-2. You could call it a 5-3-2, whatever you want to call it. Essentially, it's very focused on this kind of defensive area with then quite attacking wing backs, solid midfield, and a very good front line. So usually Harry Kane will be in this role. I'm going to change around the starting 11, but we've got, in terms of the actual squad, we'll go from position by position. Jordan Pickford in goal. He is our backup goalkeeper. Still very good, still playing for Everton. He's a great, solid backup. Nathan Baxter over at Rangers is in because he's been having a very good season since moving from Bolton. And then Adam Ramsdale is our number one keeper. Still at Arsenal, continuing to be their main keeper, and is doing very, very well for himself over the last 4 seasons. He's played predominantly in the last 3, and he's definitely kicked up a notch. Then our right backs, Trent Alexander-Arnold is of course one of our main ones, and without really having to think about it, Reece James is number 2. It's pretty self-explanatory there. And we also have Rico Lewis, and I love Rico Lewis for his versatility. So he can be our leading right back, he can be a left back, and he can play through the midfield if we need. And he can play pretty much any role you want within that: defensive, offensive, holding, playmaking, all of it. So I'm a huge fan, and only 21 years old. At left back, we only actually have one main left back, and that is Luke Shaw, not Ben Chilwell. It's Luke Shaw because he's been having a really good season. So I decided to throw him in. I am looking at like average ratings and performances over time, which is why the likes of Baxter and Luke Shaw are in. And finally, we have the centre back. So we've got Mark Gray, who's moved to Tottenham for £65 million, and he's doing very well. Good age, very good physicals, kind of everything I like in a centre back. I just wish he was a bit taller. Levi Colwill is kind of exactly what I just wanted. He has a lot of the same stats, a little bit better overall, and he is a bit taller. And he's been having a couple of very good seasons over at Chelsea. Then we have Ben White from Arsenal. He's another one of our leading centre backs, extremely good. As you saw, we're playing with a back 3, so we need a few more. John Stones, pretty much a guaranteed player in that position. And our final centre back can be Declan Rice. So we don't have the deepest of squads, of course. You can only name 23 men. So I've tried to go for players who are a bit more versatile. John Stones and Rice, Guehi, Colwill can all play in a few different positions. So that's definitely a great bit of news for the team is we don't have to worry too much about injuries because we've got a few very good options who can play all round. So Declan Rice, of course, one of our leading defensive midfielders, and the next one is James Garner, who's just been called in. Previous to this, we had, let's see if we can find him. Oh yeah, we drew to Portugal and we lost to Portugal, so they have been a better team. But our other midfielder, he played in this one, was Archie Gray over at Leeds. Has been having a pretty solid season, definitely grown into his role. But for right now, I definitely want someone who can play a bit more all round, and that's why we've gone in for James Garner. And then in terms of more offensive midfield positions, again, and no need to think about this, it's Jude Bellingham, who has moved to Manchester City this season, so we'll be seeing a bit more of him for nearly £200 million. Alongside him, got a few different options. Number one is Phil Foden, his partner at Manchester City, and he's just perfect. Again, he can play in so many different positions, and I love that. Such a great player starting to hit his prime. Unsurprisingly, James Ward-Prowse is one of our options, the only West Ham player in this team. Don't think we need to out him too much. And the final player we decided to bring in that wasn't here in our first run of games was Mason Mount, who's having a very good time at Man United this season. And again, he's basically our backup to Ward-Prowse, who's our backup to Bellingham. It's quite interesting. But yeah, I like Mason Mount, and he's probably one of the big stalwarts of this England side in real life. So why not bring him in, especially now with him hitting his prime years. So that's a very good midfield. But how's the offense looking? So the offense is probably my favourite part of this team. So many different options. We have Jadon Sancho on the bench, because I quite like him in this central role, and I feel like he could be a very good player to slowly move into that playmaking. And I'm just a big fan of him, and he's definitely someone who, if we change to a 4-3-3, which we have had as an option in this team, he could be great. And similarly, Marcus Rashford, 6 foot, all the physicals in the world, the technicals are just amazing. Mentals aren't that great, but another one who can play on the wings, but he's probably going to play predominantly up front. 29 years old, and this team's very familiar, of course, until you get to the very, very bottom. So, lastly, we have Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who's been incredible for us here at England, having breakout seasons now for a couple years. I'm surprised he's still at Everton. I'm a huge fan of him in real life. I think he has all the attributes, and I don't know, obviously his injuries have hurt him, but I don't know why when he's fit he isn't a more key part for this Everton team in real life. Lastly, we have Danny Namaso, who you may know from Porto. He's also at Everton, partner in Calvert-Lewin. I do quite like him, and I like the connection he has with Calvert-Lewin. And he was our replacement for Harry Kane. So I didn't go in for the Cameron Archer. I wanted someone who was a bit more physical. Ollie Watkins is having a great season, but I decided to stick with Shaquille Van Persie as our other leading striker. He was at Schalke last season, had a great time in Bundesliga 2, has moved back to Feyenoord, yet to really play for them, but he's not let me down at 19 years old. This likely will be his last run of games for us, considering he's not really playing at club level. But he isn't necessarily a starter, which is always a good part of it. It's nice to just have solid young options. But our regular leading team looks a little something like this. Oh yeah, Bukayo Saka is also there as another left back. I forgot about him. So we have, I'm probably going to start Saka most games. I'm going to start him here actually. So our starting 11 is Ramsdale, Colwill, where's Levi? Colwill, White, Stones, Trent, Rice, Saka, Foden, Bellingham, Calvert-Lewin and Marcus Rashford. And that's going to be the team we take in against Sweden. We need a good win, and we need somehow for the Czech Republic to pull a fast one over Portugal. which is always possible. And one of my favourite bits of international football is that every team definitely does have a chance to bring their A game. And there's always an upset at an international event. Unlike the FA Cup, where upsets may be a bit smaller, it does always feel like there's a huge upset throughout the tournament. Okay, so that makes sense. So there's two Group A's, two Group Division B, well, one Division B, one Division C. I didn't know there was two Division A's. So Saka at left wing back, he's not been there in a very long time. And probably England fans in real life would hate me for playing Bukayo Saka as a left wing back. Calvert-Lewin, off the crossbar. Yeah, imagine I'm playing Saka at left wing back because I want to force Phil Foden out of position because I don't want to play wingers. Yeah, this isn't a good sign. Okay, we win the ball back. So we try and play quite like old school. A lot of crosses into the box, into two strong, tall strikers, and kind of have all of our like technical ability kind of pushed towards the back. But it works as Colwill knocks it down to Saka. Bellingham, a couple of very good chances there. Nothing, no goal, but 25 minutes in, and we're definitely knocking on the door of Sweden here. And Portugal currently drawing with Czechia, which is good. If we can keep them to a draw, maybe Sweden can bring their A game. 2 draws would be better than 1 loss. Ramsdale, good catch there. And here we go, this counter-attacking football. We're trying to play exactly like you'd think an England team at international duty would. Defensive, solid, not giving up many goals, kind of getting the least out of our technical players. And we have conceded at the back post. Dejan Kulusevski popping up a very good cross there by Ludwig Augustinsson, who I'm a big fan of. But yeah, that is not a great goal to concede there. And you would think we'll be a lot better than we are. Now, there are little tactical changes we can make to this team if I feel it's necessary. And I do think that coming into the break here, we're going to make our first substitution. Obviously, Calvert-Lewin clearly not fit enough to continue playing today. But alongside that, I'm going to move Phil Foden into an advanced playmaker role and bring Bellingham and Rice a little bit further back and play something more like this, which I think might be our best shout. So Danny Namaso is going to come on. Rashford continues leading the line. He is meant to be our main goal scorer. Bellingham's picked up an injury straight off the bat, so he can come off for James Ward-Prowse. Here's Trent on this right hand side. Breaking forward. This is nice. Plays it back to Namaso. Couldn't quite get there. Kulusevski's been everywhere today. Rice forward to Phil Foden off the post. We've definitely had the better of this game. We've just not been able to put it into the back of the net. At least not yet. But with about 40 minutes left to go, let's not concede here. Amazing run by Rooney Bargi, who absolutely leathers it over the top. I thought this would be a nice little showcase for this England team, so you could see, we're building something. Foden goes for goal. Why on earth would you go for goal from that? We are not way into the box. Maybe we do change that. I think that might be a good idea. We are not playing our best game today. Going to change Ben White to be more of a ball-playing defender. Alright, it's time to make some changes. We're going to bring Phil Foden off for Jadon Sancho. Rashford off for Shaquille Van Persie. We're going to save one last substitution for if it's necessary, because we still have 20 minutes left and not much fitness on this team. Ramsdale forward. It's over the top, forced to home. Jorgensen. Not much pressing at all from this England side. We aren't built to press. We're built to kind of soak in pressure. But maybe against these teams we should be a bit more expressive. And it might be a good idea to sub off one of our centre-backs and be a bit more aggressive as Victor Grochieres makes it 2-0. And definitely we're going to move into the 4-3-3, but it's not going to be a 4-3-3, if that makes sense. It's going to be Colwill swapping with Ben White, and he's going to swap with Jadon Sancho. Van Persie can play on that right hand side, Namaso leading the line, and on the left we will have Mason Mount, swap Mount and Sancho. Let's try that. 20 minutes left to go, we are 2-0 down, and this will be the end as Namaso, good save by Jorgensen, tips over for a corner. This will be the end of our international dreams if we can't at least get something out of this. Ward-Prowse in. Trent couldn't win the header. Forced to Saka. Another great block. Ward-Prowse yet again on the ball. Finds Sancho. Saka. We're just kind of fiddling about. Van Persie. Trent. Goes for goal. Not far. And I'm going to make a couple more changes here to be a bit more aggressive. Out of possession. Gonna go higher, get stuck in, press a ton, counter press when we win it. Let's see, we should be a much better side than this. I do think with, a bit under 10 minutes left to go, we can at least get a point. And Portugal are drawing with Czechia. So this was the chance. And here we go. Not long, Ward-Prowse in, head away, Stones wins the head, and that's so tame. Really, really timid there. That was very bad. Let's go a bit more attacking with these wing backs. Gyökeres again. Victor Grochieres wrist to Kulusevski. The 2 goal scorers linking up. Alanga and Rooney Bargy makes it 3-0. May well be offside. It didn't look offside to me. Oh, it's going to be Alexander Isak that they're pulling out. They're saying he was interfering with play. Is that true? No, it's not true. Flippity doodah. 3-0 down to Sweden. This is bad. And yeah, we're definitely not going to be getting promoted out of the Friendly Cup. There's Trent now on it. Tries forward. This is good work here by Trent though. And again, with kind of teetering on the brink. And look at the XG. 2.25 XG. To their 1.23, 21 shots, 9 on target, 2.5, and we have lost 3-0. We have dominated that game, but we had no finishing product at all. Calvert-Lewin, 4 different strikers, it must be said, we had out there, and not a single goal. Really, really poor from us, and you can see if you look at those stats there. Just for continued, we definitely were the better team. I don't know how on earth we lost that. Yeah, look at that. 11 shots at 21. 1.39 XG to 2.54. 54 possession, but it was Anthony Alanga's game, really. And he should not be good enough to be breaking our squad. And yeah, had we have won that, we'd be on 10 points. Portugal on 1. Let's say we even won that 1-0, we'll be on 3 XG. So we'll be definitely pushing and knocking on the door of Portugal. Instead, we've now given Sweden the chance to try and break forward and win something. But we'll come back for the Czechia game and see if maybe we can create. Right, so we're back. It's not the greatest team in the world. Hopefully it's more than enough to get past Czechia. So we've got my Pickford, Luke Shaw at left centre back, Guehi, Stones, Lewis, Garner, James, Mount, Bellingham, Rashford and Namaso. Yeah, Luke Shaw will be playing at left centre back, which is something he's actually done in real life under Erik ten Hag. And I do feel like I'm doing a bit of an Erik ten Hag type of season this year. Has felt a lot like him. Definitely here at England, it felt like that with so many players playing out of position. You could argue here, I've got 3 playing out of position. Yeah, the other team had about 4 or 5 players playing out of position. Was kind of trying to find a way to get all the best players into this team without making it completely unusable. Portugal are drawing with Sweden. I'm going to be keeping a strong eye on that game because I can't believe I bottled it the way I did. Here we go. John Stones on the ball. I want to see a lot more from him. Reece James back to Stones. Mount. Calmly done. Okay, this is going pretty solid. Garner. Stones. I'm liking this slower play. And it's Reece James on the right. And he's became white somehow. Bellingham. Another great save. We just can't finish. That's been our ploying. Vaclav Cherny. Oh, good save there by Pickford. Yeah, things aren't going great. Already, I feel like we're set to lose this game. I will not lie to you. Thomas Souček playing for them. Vladimir Sufal still in the squad. I want to say Vaclav Cherny played for West Ham the year 2022-23. But Namaso's fitness again is really poor. And to be honest, looking at it, it's so clear that we can't fit all our strikers together right now. So I'm going to play more of what we do in West Ham with something along the lines of like Roman playmaker here for Bellingham. Then I can do, let's say, where's Phil Foden? Oh yeah, Mason Mount's on. So I can bring Jadon Sancho on and maybe play something like double inverted wingers here. Maybe something like that can work. But yeah, something just not clicking right now. Offensively, we look so sloppy and lazy. Israel winning their, joint with Montenegro in Division C. Wonder how Palestine are getting on. Portugal are winning, so in the end it doesn't seem to have mattered, that game between us and Sweden. They're 3-1 up. Yeah, this is really, really poor. Shaquille Van Persie coming on. 10 minutes, let's go. Here we go. Luke Shaw on the ball. This is something. Swings it in, heads the way. Van Persie down to Shaw again. So weird having Van Persie in an England squad. Garner over the top. We're just not... Honestly, before this episode started, I can tell you right now, we are having a very, very solid run here with England. Those first 6 games or 4 games we played, we looked really good. And so just fell. I actually don't know what it is that's made this team so bad out of nowhere. Yeah, it's really bad. So Mason Mount's going to come off for Bukayo Saka. Our last change of the game, maybe... Oh, I knew we were going to lose. I knew it. Barak with the free kick. If this goes in, I swear to God. What? Take it? What's he doing? He's like really weird with his hands. Short. Krall. Just wide. Alex Krall. Solid little play. I'm very thankful he missed. Pickford launches this forward. Headed away. Only as far as Guehi. Now Lewis. Here we go. This is something. Finds Bukayo Saka. Saka beating Matiju. Still going forward. Oh, this is nice here. But again, it misses. We've had no finishing since we've lost Harry Kane. 1.37 XG, 1.52. So overall, over 2 games, you had about 4 XG. Bit over 4 XG. 0 goals. And we end up very disappointingly kind of faltering at the end. I'm trying to think of like the right word. I don't want to say crashing. Well, I guess that's kind of the best word for it. Yeah, England conclude the poor European League Division A campaign. It's a bit of a mouthful. So definitely things going to have to change in time for our next big competition. I'm not sure what that will be. 2026, shouldn't the Euros be around this time? No, the Euros are at 2028. So I don't know what we have next, but whatever it is, we need to be a lot better. Thank you all for watching this little interim episode though. Take care, and I'll see you again. Goodbye.